All right, welcome back to the Texags NCAA 2014 tournament. This episode, we're going to cover the East and the South. This episode is brought to you by Johnny Drama because we had some awesome games coming up this past week. First in the East, we had the Hokies and the Cardinals, the 1-4 seed, pretty amazing game. What did y'all think about how this game played out?
This is my vote already for game of the tournament. This was an outstanding matchup between two teams that had a lot of offensive power and put it on display the entire game. Back and forth game. You never knew who was going to come out on top until the very end. Louisville scored a late touchdown and went for two to try to make it a 3-point lead late in the game. Didn't get the conversion, so it ended up being a 1-point lead when Virginia Tech had the ball with not very much time left, I think seconds. They were able to drive down, quick drive to their side, to the Louisville side of the field and set up for a field goal. Louisville coach was able to freeze the kicker with a timeout, and unfortunately the field goal hit off the right upright of the field goal and missed. And so Virginia Tech missed that and then lost the game on that fluky play. But yeah, a lot of hokey pokies in that game, and it was a really fun one to watch.
Yeah, no, I Louisville is a great team, and C. Bennett's a great user, and so definitely deserving to get to the Elite Eight. However, I want to take a moment to kind of shout out Virginia Tech and the tournament they had. They won in maybe the second runner-up game of the tournament so far, in their win against North Carolina, 56-49, that we kind of talked about last video. But this one, there was a point in the game I almost turned it off in the second quarter. Louisville was up, I don't know, 2-3 scores, something like that. And it was looking for the world like Louisville was going to run away and make a little bit of mockery of the game. But Virginia Tech charged back and ended up with a chance to win and arguably should have won on a field goal if it hadn't have doinked off the upright. So definitely want to give a shout out to Virginia Tech and the tournament they had. We're having that consolation bracket running offline, and I think they're going to make some real noise there.
Yeah, I can't really argue about this being the game of the tournament so far. It was really an incredible game, but kudos to Virginia Tech. Obviously, they've had two fantastic games so far. Both that they almost won. They won the first one, almost won the second one. But look, this game did not need to be as close as it was. Virginia Tech gave every opportunity to Louisville to just run away with this game, and they just wouldn't. Louisville would just not take the game and run away with it. And that's how it landed them in this last situation where they almost lost on the last second field goal. And Virginia Tech probably should have won this game, but it was not because of a skill difference here. This game shouldn't have been as close as it was. I predicted Louisville to win and win by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and they should have. They probably should have won by more. They were given every opportunity to run away with this game, and they just didn't. Again, not taking anything away from Virginia Tech, even though I kind of am, but Louisville shouldn't run away with this game. They should have won this game. They did, but their performance definitely worrisome going into the next round.
Hot takes from Skip Bayless. All right. Let's move over to the other side of the bracket. My Miami team gets smoked by South Carolina, as I predicted. Second time he and I played. So what were your thoughts on this game, Ryan?
Yeah, so the story of the game was really that in the first quarter, South Carolina pounced on some early momentum and really never gave it back. We all know from playing this game that momentum is a huge deal. And I think it was South Carolina went down and scored first. Miami, Adam, you threw an interception, and they scored again to make it 14-0. From there, for the team that's down, you got to do something to create momentum and swing it back your way. And it just never happened. It kind of felt like you were playing with one arm tied behind your back the whole time. So definitely kudos to South Carolina for a great game and creating that momentum. But it was just a tough draw.
Yeah,
sorry, Cody, go ahead.
Sorry, Chris was going to take it, but I'll Yeah, this game, I expected Miami to win this one, but South Carolina's Cinderella story continues. The lowest seed to make it into the Elite Eight as a 7 seed, so pretty impressive that they made it this far. Just another observation on the seeding committee, but they played a great game and they beat a great user, and not much to say other than that. They pretty much controlled this game after the first quarter, and they're going to be a tough matchup for Louisville in the next round.
Yeah, unfortunately, the game was blacked out in Ohio, so I was keeping up on the score tracker app, so I didn't get to see the. I knew the score, I knew there was kind of a gap there, but didn't get to witness it. But Adam, do you have any thoughts on the performance of your guys on the field, or anything you would have done differently? Kind of the contrast between two games from your round one, beatdown of FSU to this.
Yeah, made made a wrong button interception, and as Cody once said, the wrong button interception is the best defense in the game. And after that, I couldn't recover. I didn't get any stops, forced field goals, but he probably would have been going forward if he hadn't been up by 2 touchdowns. And couldn't run the ball. Just an overall frustrating day. But looking forward to the consolation bracket and seeing what we can make some noise there, change our playbook a little bit. But just like I predicted, he's going to beat me. I think he's just a better player than me with this matchup. And good luck to the Cox moving forward. All right, so let's talk about this matchup a little bit. The Cardinals and the Cox, C. Bennett and Aggie 94, Ag 94, Ag 17. What do y'all think is going to go on with this game?
So, in my opinion, as the seeding committee, South Carolina's got to be the Cinderella story of the tournament. They kind of came in as a complete wild card in the sense that I had no idea, good, bad, anywhere in between. And if there's one of those users that surprised in a positive way, it's got to be South Carolina. Big 20-7 win over Clemson in the first round, and then following it up with a solid 44-25 win over Miami. So solid results so far. I think they're one of the stories of the tournament. Louisville looked a little shaky in their last game. So I don't know. Maybe might be a 7 seed in the Final Four.
I think it's going to be an offensive game. A lot of points are going to be scored. Both teams can throw and run well. And both teams have shown that they can give up some points along the way. So I expect a lot of points a lot of touchdowns to be scored.
Yeah, I think this one, as you guys kind of alluded to, is going to be an offensive shootout. And in my opinion, it's really going to come down to turnovers. South Carolina's performed really well in their last 2 games. And you could easily say that they've had the hardest route to get to the Elite Eight out of any team in the bracket so far, even over Wisconsin, who's had quite a rough stretch so far, but they've made it this far. This one is going to come down to turnovers. Who's going to make the least amount of mistakes? There's going to be a lot of points, not much defense from what we've seen. So it's going to be anybody's game. Louisville's game against Virginia Tech. Again, not taking anything away from Virginia Tech, but it kind of am. Louisville's game scared me. They were easily my pick to come out of this side of the East bracket. But that you can't discount the South Carolina team. So Cox versus Cards. We'll see how it goes.
It should be a great game. Really looking forward to watching this one. All right, let's shift over to the South and take a look at these games. So we're going to focus on the T and A side of this. We had T versus A and A versus T. A came out on top, which was shocking to me. It's not the way I would have picked it. But, let's talk about this game between Auburn and Georgia Tech.
Yeah, so we had a game here where Auburn was able to win 48-28. Definitely a resounding win that kind of leaves no doubt who was deserving to move on to the Elite Eight. The one thing I'll say here is Georgia Tech was outgunned in the sense of the talent on the field. Potentially the worst team in terms of raw talent in the tournament. It really snowballed here. There was no room for error, and one mistake early led to momentum, kind of what we talked about earlier, to be on Auburn's side. And Auburn's offense is good enough that they weren't going to give it back. So no room for error with Georgia Tech, and it came back to bite them here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the talent mismatch was too much to overcome for Georgia Tech. He's a hell of a player. Played him a few times myself, both in practice games and in online dynasties, and we've gone back and forth a little bit. So I think with a different squad, I think he could have made a little bit of noise. But I think the talent matchup between just the players in the field was too much.
Yeah, so I'm going to rewind a little bit here, guys, because I think we're kind of overlooking this, how Georgia Tech actually got here. They had a first-round matchup against Alabama, and there was a lot of scuttlebutt coming out of Tuscaloosa that Alabama felt like it should have got a bye all the way into the championship. And apparently the committee finally grew a backbone, said, no, that's not happening. And Alabama backed out with a no-show. So Georgia Tech moves on to the next round, and here they are playing Auburn. And in a surprising turn of events, Georgia Tech decided to run the spread. Not sure that they had the horses for that, and it was shown in this game against Auburn. They were completely outgunned, surprisingly, actually. But yeah, this game unfortunately wasn't ever really that close. Auburn ran away with it, and yeah, it was a surprising outcome, but the Tigers got it done pretty easily.
All right, so let's look at this the Florida-Georgia game. Do we have a line on when this is going to happen?
Yeah, so this game is scheduled to happen tomorrow night. We had some scheduling difficulties with Georgia over the weekend, and we're going to get this game played tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Wednesday night for those of you, depending on when you watch this.
Yes.
The game will happen. And then we'll follow that up. The winner of that game will play Auburn this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Sorry, Adam.
No, go right ahead.
I would say looking at projecting a little bit on this possible matchups here, and it looks like a pretty awesome SEC matchup in either direction, whether it's Florida or Georgia. Obviously, there's a rivalry aura to it if Georgia does advance, and you have classic rivals between Georgia and Auburn who play annually. So that'll be interesting. And then if Florida advances, I mean, I know both players, seen them play, and both are very offensive, effective on the offensive side of the ball. So it'd be a really fun, offensive style game in that direction as well.
All right, so the committee's internet is doing about as well as their seating so far. Sorry for these technical difficulties. The internet there, the Gaylord, Texan, and Grapevine must be overwhelmed right now with who knows what. But let's finish up talking about this game and
wrap it up.
Looking
at potential matchups, the Florida user and the Auburn user have played each other before in an online dynasty, and I kind of pulled up the results. And Cody from Florida won 38-37. So it was a really close game, really tight game. That means that they're fairly evenly matched. And so that would be a fun game to watch. And on the other hand, if Georgia's able to pull the upset, I think that speaks really well towards their ability to give Auburn a good game as well. And you have the natural rivalry there. So I'm looking forward to it either way. Obviously, I know Cody's biased, but Coach, how do you feel about your potential matchup with Auburn?
Auburn? We're talking about Auburn? Look, we're only looking at Georgia this week. We're only seeing red this week. So we can't talk about Auburn, all right? Auburn's in the future. We got to focus on this week. Okay, so I don't want to hear about Auburn anymore.
All right, there you have it.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate it, guys. Lots of fun so far. One game left to play. Like I said, you got a week. Please film your games. It's been a ton of fun to watch them, and a lot of us have been going back to rewatch them just to see what happened. Looking forward to it, guys. Enjoying it, and can't wait to see you next week.